Tonight on CTV News, BC's brain gain.
They're choosing communities all over British Columbia, including Vancouver.
Hundreds of American doctors and nurses are heading north to work in BC. How much of a difference, though, will it make? Dramatic video of a snowmobiler falling over a cliff in Revelstoke, witnessed by others who are stunned that he's alive. Off track, a massive mudslide sends train cars careening off the rails, the economic impact of the line being shut down.
So the pricing of the tickets, as Mayor said, will come in the days to come.
FIFA World Cup fan zone, how a spectator zone for games will work and how many seats will be free.
This is CTV News with Mi Jung Lee.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. American doctors and nurses are leaving the U.S. and moving to B.C. In fact, more than 400 now call this province home, and they're helping with the severe staffing shortage. Tonight, as the Premier takes a victory lap, critics say it's just a drop in the bucket, and a lot more recruits are needed before anyone celebrates. Ben Milger leads us off tonight.
Costa Rica,
India.
I was born in Ocala, Florida,
Scotland.
BC has a history of welcoming healthcare workers from around the globe.
More news from Washington today.
If you want to care for others in a place that cares about you.
For the past year, a recruitment campaign has focused on the U.S. states of Washington, Oregon, and California. It found a receptive audience.
When the first Trump administration came into power, we really kind of were getting worried and talking about potentially leaving the country.
Now they have, relocating to Nanaimo in September. The province says 2,750 Americans applied for healthcare positions in the last year. More than 400 got the job. They include 89 doctors, 260 nurses, 42 nurse practitioners, and 23 other healthcare professionals.
The warm welcome has been mind-blowing. And work, I feel more comfortable. I don't have the moral injury of working in a for-profit healthcare system.
Premier David Eby wants more.
We have highly inclusive and welcoming workplaces and communities, and we can't wait to welcome you to British Columbia. Come join your friends.
The influx of trained professionals will help a beleaguered healthcare system, but BC needs 4,500 additional nurses across the province right now.
It really is a drop in the bucket, especially if we are going to be successful at implementing minimum nurse-to-patient ratios in this province.
As the campaign continues, word of mouth from those already here may also prove effective.
Became a Canadian in my heart, and hopefully very, very soon, within the next year, a citizen.
To live where quality of care.
Ben joins us live now. Ben, how is the opposition reacting to this news?
Well, much like the Nurses Union, the BC Conservatives say it's a good start, but it's nowhere near enough to cover the shortfall of healthcare workers. They're calling for investments to increase recruitment, training, and retention of more nurses and doctors right here in BC. Bijan?
Thank you, Ben. BC's police watchdog is investigating after a driver was killed while allegedly fleeing a traffic stop in Abbotsford. It happened around 11:30 last night after officers tried to pull over a pickup truck along McClure Road. The Dodge Ram then sped away, lost control, and crashed into a tree. The driver was pronounced dead on scene. The IIO is investigating the incident as it tries to determine whether police actions or inactions contributed to the deadly collision. Turning now to the stabbing death of a father at a downtown Starbucks. The Crown took aim at the credibility of the man on trial for murder. He admitted that he lied to police out of fear. A warning, the details in the story are disturbing. CTV's Craig Krause has the latest from BC Supreme Court.
It's been nearly 3 years since Paul Schmidt was stabbed and killed in front of his fiancée and his 3-year-old daughter outside of a downtown Vancouver Starbucks. The man accused, Inderdeep Gosal, took the stand as the Crown unleashed a flurry of questions. Gosal told the court that Schmidt came at him multiple times, and Gosal attempted to push him away before reaching into his pocket and grabbing the knife. It happened fast, said Gosel. He said he feared Schmidt had a weapon, and after he was unable to push him away, he attempted to scare Schmidt by pulling out the knife before stabbing him 6 times. I did not intentionally try to put the knife in him all the way, Gosel explained. The Crown also questioned Gosel on what he told police around the time of the stabbing. He claimed the victim called him a schizophrenic and a diabetic, but on the stand, he admitted that he lied to police out of fear. We also learned Tuesday that he told his sister days after the stabbing he hadn't used his medication for 2 or 3 days, although during the trial, he said he was off his antipsychotic medication for months. He admitted he lied to his sister. The court also heard that the knife used to stab Schmidt was the same brand and description of the knife Gosel had seized by Langley RCMP in 2017. Gosel told the court that the knife used to stab Schmidt in 2023 was found in a downtown Vancouver alley on a dumpster, and he believed it was a sign from God to protect himself that day. Craig Crowe, CTV News, Vancouver.
Homicide investigators were called to Maple Ridge last night after an altercation inside a home left one man dead. Officers found the 49-year-old man in medical distress at a home in the 23700 block of 110 Avenue around 7:30. Despite life-saving efforts, he did not survive. Police arrested one person at the scene and say they believe the fight was an isolated incident between two people who knew each other. Investigators do not believe there is any further risk to the public. New details tonight about the FIFA World Cup Fan Festival at the PNE, where only some soccer fans will be able to catch the action at the brand new amphitheater for free. We'll explain in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at a damp downtown street. It is now 6:06. Gray day, plenty of rain and drizzle, as you predicted.
Yes, and more on the way as we head into the next few days. Atmospheric river causing heavy rainfall across the region, and we do have rainfall warnings still in effect for West Vancouver Island. You'll see upwards of 200 millimeters of rain into tomorrow morning, inland sections as well as Metro Vancouver under a yellow rainfall warning, anywhere between 100 to 150 millimeters of rain. And for Whistler, you're looking at a winter storm warning, heavy snow yesterday. Now we could see an additional 60 to 80 millimeters of rain on top of that. So there is a landslide and flooding risk as we head into tomorrow morning. So rain continues tonight, 20 to 30 millimeters expected. A mild day tomorrow, highs to 12 degrees with an additional 10 to 20 millimeters of rain.
CTV Weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises. Make the most of your next vacation by booking with those who've been there. Visit expediacruises.ca.
And it stays wet for the rest of the work week, clearing up just in time for the weekend. I've got those details coming up.
Oh, well, one consolation, we have the double-digit temperatures. It is very warm. All right, thanks, Anne. 86 days to go until Vancouver hosts the World Cup, and we're learning the Fan Fest at the PNE won't be a free-for-all. Some lucky fans will be able to watch matches at the brand new amphitheater at no cost, but most seats in the house will be paid premium seating. CTV's Martin McMahon has the details.
Initially billed as a way to watch World Cup games for free on big screens, it's now emerging that the bulk of spots in the new amphitheater under construction at the PNE will be reserved for paid premium seats as part of the FIFA Fan Fest.
So the FIFA Fan Festival Vancouver is free. The amphitheater is an enhanced experience. So when you think about the amphitheater, perhaps think about places like BC Place or the Pacific Coliseum. It is very usual for any host cities to be able to host an enhanced experience.
While the venue will be free to access and there will be screens available in other parts of the PNE grounds, at the amphitheater itself, only about a quarter of the spots, 2,600, will be free on a first-come, first-served basis.
I could assure everyone, wherever you are in PNE, in Hastings Park, whether you look left, right, forward, or backward, you will be able to see a big screen and you will be able to enjoy the games for free.
Mayor Ken Zim says the city of Vancouver is contributing $5 million toward the Fan Fest, which will run from June 11th to July 19th. But fans will have to wait a little longer to learn when and how they can buy premium tickets.
Those details will be coming shortly as we get closer to the event. But everyone will be informed of it when it actually gets released, and they'll have an opportunity to participate.
And it's still not clear how much those premium tickets will cost.
So the pricing of the tickets, as Mayor said, will come in the days to come. The host committee is making preparations to release that information so people can reserve their experience.
Having paid seating may be a way to make the event more viable. In recent weeks, other host cities, including New York and Boston, have canceled or scaled back plans for fan fests for financial reasons. Martin McMahon, CTV News, Vancouver.
A man is telling an amazing tale of survival after free falling off a cliff in BC's backcountry during an annual high-stakes snowmobiling competition. Video captured by other snowmobilers shows the man falling hundreds of meters and then landing on the snow with his snowmobile at his side. It happened on Saturday at the Big Iron Shootout in Revelstoke, an event where riders tackle steep chutes up the mountain using high-powered sleds, followed by an extreme descent. Snowmobilers raced to check on the man, who amazingly was not seriously injured and managed to ride off on his damaged sled. Video posted online shows him talking about the close call moments after it happened.
I just heard everyone's sleds start. Everyone thinks I'm dead for sure. Absolutely. I started wiggling my toes. Yeah, just like torpedoes, like boom. So you didn't hit rock or anything? You cleared everything. What was that? Hit that pillow they're saying. Well, that video looks like the video. Sure looks like you hit something. Yeah.
This extreme sport attracts backcountry thrill seekers, but can be dangerous and deadly. In 2010, 2 people died and several were injured when sledders triggered an avalanche at the same event. An employee at the Canada Revenue Agency has been charged with fraud and identity theft after taxpayer information was allegedly compromised. Johan Zola was arrested in Vancouver at the end of January after a 4-year-long investigation. Today, authorities announced the 35-year-old is facing numerous charges, including identity theft, breach of trust, and using a credit card obtained by crime. Police say all victims impacted have been notified. Zola has been released on bail ahead of his next court appearance in April. Nearly 5 years after Lytton was destroyed by wildfire, very few homes have been rebuilt. What went wrong? The Auditor General's report also coming up.
Crazy.
A mudslide derails dozens of train cars near Prince Rupert, shutting down a vital lifeline. How it's impacting hundreds of jobs. That's ahead. Train has derailed after a mudslide in northwestern BC sent dozens of rail cars off the tracks and cut off a major lifeline for the port-driven economy. As CTV's Kevin Chirac reports, locals believe it could have been much worse.
Mother Nature taking out a train.
It was pouring rain, like pouring rain.
Justine Crawford lives a few kilometers away. After losing power Monday, she went to investigate and found a mudslide that had completely blocked the rail line and the road.
Phoned the CN emergency line to let them know there was a bunch of debris on the tracks and to stop the trains. And I guess in between the time that we saw the landslide and got back to the house, this poor guys ran right into the landslide and derailed their train.
CN Rail says 27 empty grain rail cars and a locomotive were derailed near the small community of Port Edward, and no one was injured.
We saw the guys and they're okay. Probably had a few stiff drinks that night.
The rail line is considered vital to the region's port-driven economy.
This is Canada's third largest port. It's a very active railroad and growing rapidly.
The mayor estimates about 1,000 workers have already been impacted by the line closure.
Taking something out of those rail cars and putting it onto ships, or taking off ships and putting it onto rail cars. That's what we do.
BC's Ministry of Environment says there were no visible spills into the Skeena River. CN says no dangerous goods were on board, but shipments through the corridor often include materials such as coal, propane, or other petroleum products, leaving some thinking it could have been much worse.
Northern BC is not equipped to deal with any of these dangerous goods that are moving through our areas. We don't have enough emergency services. We're really lucky this time.
Crews are expected to continue cleanup efforts through the night. CN has not provided a timeline for when the track will reopen, but Mayor Pons says he's hopeful it won't take long.
My understanding is that, within a day or two, they should be able to free up that line and we'll be back in business.
The Transportation Safety Board says it's aware of the derailment, but did not respond to CTV News' request for comment before deadline. Kevin Chirac, CTV News.
Almost 5 years after a catastrophic wildfire destroyed most of the village of Lytton, dozens of people have yet to go home. Recovery has been slow because of red tape in a small town that was overwhelmed by a massive rebuild. Michelle Bernaro reports.
June 30th, 2021, a raging wildfire roared through Lytton, leaving 2 people dead and burning nearly all of the village.
Lytton was such an unprecedented disaster event.
A disaster that, according to the mayor, means even today some people remain displaced and only about half the population, now around 100, has returned. A just-released report from BC's Auditor General examines the province's role in Lytton's slow recovery and found several challenges, including since revised provincial legislation that couldn't support the complex and unprecedented needs of the village.
It relied on funding programs that the village could not effectively leverage. It also followed an approach that expected communities to lead their own recovery regardless of capacity.
The province committed more than $60 million to the wildfire recovery. However, the report says that between 2022 and 2023, the village did not provide the province with all required progress and spending reports. Lytton's mayor says she doesn't know why reports weren't originally filed, but says there was staff turnover and a lot to figure out.
I think it took quite a long time to get everything organized and sorted out. It wasn't simple at all, very, very complicated.
Noted that it was very difficult for them to maintain records and at the level at which the province would normally be required. And so we changed our process to accommodate.
The minister says legislation for emergency management passed since the wildfire enables better planning should other communities face disaster.
I think we've incorporated a lot of those lessons learned from the experience at Lytton.
What the report doesn't address is the province's role in supporting those impacted by the same fire living outside Lytton Village.
Sadly, rural residents were completely ignored and seem to continue to be ignored, which is very disappointing.
Meanwhile, Lytton's mayor hopes the lessons learned can help other small communities. Michelle Bernaro, CTV News, Vancouver.
Donald Trump's top counter-terrorism official has just quit over the war on Iran. Also ahead.
Given the innocent lives that have been lost, there is a critical need for such an investigation.
The UN is investigating the fatal strike on a school in Iran, likely launched by the U.S., and the target of Iran's latest drone attack. And wildlife encounter. A Vancouver photographer captured stunning images of a gray whale off Spanish banks. That's ahead. The driver of a food truck in southern Japan saved the local fire department the trouble of rushing to the scene by driving his flaming food truck to the station himself. In the distance, you can see the roasted sweet potato truck rushing through the streets. Once he arrived at the station, crews quickly doused the flames. No one was hurt. The U.S. Embassy in Baghdad was hit by rocket and drone attacks again today as Iran continues to attack neighboring countries housing U.S. installations. It comes as Israel announced airstrikes overnight had killed more high-ranking Iranian officials. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
Iran kept up its drone strikes overnight with a wave of attacks targeting the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. One of the most intense since this war began, with security officials saying at least 5 drones were used. Countries in the Gulf were also targeted. Authorities in the United Arab Emirates say 10 ballistic missiles and 45 drones launched from Iran were intercepted. While in Israel, an Iranian missile caused damage in the central part of the country. Despite more than 2 weeks of bombardment, Iran continues to target so-called enemy countries, though the tempo of those strikes has slowed. In what could be a major blow to the regime, Israel says it killed one of Iran's top leaders, Ari Larijani. Last seen in public on Friday, Larijani had strong ties to both Moscow and Beijing and was seen as more of a pragmatist than a hardliner. The United States released this video today, which Central Command says shows strikes against targets inside Iran. It comes on the same day as the United Nations announced it is investigating the fatal strike on a primary school in Iran on the first day of this war, which killed 168 people, mostly girls. A preliminary investigation found the U.S. was likely responsible, though nothing has been proven.
Given the innocent lives that have been lost, there is a critical need for such an investigation to be done and for an independent outcome to follow.
The UN is also questioning Israel's conduct in Lebanon, saying some of its strikes there may constitute war crimes. The death toll from renewed fighting between Israel and Hezbollah, the Iran-backed militant group, is nearly 900, according to the health ministry. Nearly 1 million people have been displaced. We feel that someone should look at us, this man says. There has been a lot of destruction. Heather Wright, CTV News, Istanbul.
Donald Trump lashed out at NATO and U.S. allies today for not joining the war against Iran. Trump is still trying to persuade allies to send in reinforcements to secure the critical Strait of Hormuz. Iran has blocked the critical waterway for oil, sending gas prices soaring.
I think NATO's making a very foolish mistake, and I've long said that, I wonder whether or not NATO would ever be there for us. So this was a great test, because we don't need them.
In another blow to Trump, his top counterterrorism official just quit publicly. Joe Kent posted on social media that he could not in good conscience support the war, saying that, quote, Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation. With the World Cup set to kick off in just 3 months, Iran is trying to move its matches out of the U.S. and into Mexico. As the conflict in the Middle East deepens, Iran says it's negotiating with FIFA to move the group stage games. The request comes after Donald Trump discouraged the team from participating, citing safety concerns. The World Cup is being co-hosted by Canada, Mexico, and the U.S. in June. Moving matches this close to the tournament would be unprecedented. The U.S. president is now raising the idea of controlling Cuba as another massive blackout hits the island.
I do believe I'll be having the honor of taking Cuba. That'd be good. That's a big honor.
Taking Cuba.
Taking Cuba in some form, yeah. Taking Cuba. I mean, whether I free it, take it, I think I could do anything I want with it. You want to know the truth?
This is the third major blackout in Cuba, which is grappling with an energy and economic crisis. Crews are slowly restoring power after what officials are calling a complete disconnection of the nation's electrical system. The island has been cut off from any oil shipments for the past 3 months. Prime Minister Mark Carney is now officially on vacation in Europe after wrapping up some meetings in London. Carney met with the UK Prime Minister yesterday for a bilateral meeting where the two leaders reinforced their support for Ukraine. He also visited Buckingham Palace for a face-to-face with King Charles. For the next 6 days, Carney is on vacation, but the Prime Minister's office says he'll be in close contact with staff on critical issues. Her wedding dress was accidentally donated to the Salvation Army, and it is a memory of her mother who passed away.
I feel like through this search, she's alongside me somehow.
A Squamish woman's desperate search for her wedding dress, how online sleuths are trying to track it down. That's ahead.
Tracking Canadians.
She's a 19-year-old girl.
W5 uncovers a crime syndicate hunting for traffickers.
They just asked me to find people for them.
Watch W5 Saturday at 7 on CTV and Crave.
Princess Kate marked St. Patrick's Day with a visit to the Irish Guards today. Kate handed out traditional sprigs of shamrock to members of the regiment, including an Irish wolfhound. Kate has held the ceremonial role of Colonel of the Irish Guards since 2022. We have another stunning Metro Vancouver marine life sighting to share with you. A massive gray whale with its distinct heart-shaped blow was captured on camera by wildlife enthusiast Alex Cole. The whale was pictured feeding off Spanish banks over the weekend. Members of Cole's Facebook group, the House Sound and Sea to Sky Wildlife, believe the whale is part of a group of North Puget Sound gray whales who sometimes stop by the Vancouver area en route to Alaska as they feed.
Wow.
Lucky him to see that just off Spanish banks. I did see a gray whale off the coast, the Sunshine Coast, a few years ago, but this is a little closer to home.
Yeah, and it blew a heart for him, too. That was amazing.
Yeah, I didn't realize that gray whales do that. Now I know to look for that heart.
That's stunning. All right, let's take a look at our forecast. We've seen a lot of rain the last couple of days. From Sunday right through into today, Tofino has seen 121 millimeters of rain. Burnaby Mountain at 67, 64 for Coquitlam, 58 millimeters for Squamish, West Vancouver, 50 millimeters of rain, all thanks to this atmospheric river, a Pineapple Express. As you can see, the tropical air moving its way in from Hawaiian Islands. So it'll be warm as we head into the next few days. Still have rainfall warnings in effect in orange for this central coast as well as West Vancouver Island, upwards of 200 millimeters rain total by tomorrow morning. A yellow rainfall warning for inland sections of Vancouver Island and Metro Vancouver, anywhere between 120 to 150 millimeters rain total by tomorrow morning. We still have a yellow winter storm warning for the Sea to Sky as well as Whistler, 60 to 80 millimeters of rain on top of the snow that has fallen, so a risk of landslides and flooding as we head into tomorrow morning. And the wind warning has been lifted for the Fraser Canyon, which is great news. They were seeing gusty winds of 90 kilometers an hour. So for us, through the overnight hours, we'll see periods of rain continuing into tomorrow morning across Metro Vancouver, slowly easing in the mid-morning, but then another round develops through the afternoon hours and evening, and it'll be heavy, of course, with periods of rain throughout the day. You'll see mostly cloudy skies for the northeast corner of the province. Your provincial forecast at the bottom of your screen. 12 degrees and showers for Port Hardy. It'll be soggy for Campbell River and Comox at 10 degrees. Periods of rain for Tofino at 10 as well, with some showers from Port Alberni right down to Victoria. Warm temperatures between 12 and 15 degrees for the Sunshine Coast. 11 with some showers. Same story up the Sea to Sky Highway for Squamish. Periods of rain for Whistler at 9. And for us across the lower mainland, we'll see temperatures between 11 and 12 degrees heading into Thursday. Rain continues on Friday. We say hello to spring at 7:46 in the morning with 12 degrees and showers, and then clears up quite nicely for Saturday. Mostly sunny skies, a few clouds on Sunday. Clouding over on Monday with more rain continuing, with temperatures cooling to 8 degrees. CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises for air, land, and sea vacations. So yeah, very balmy as we head into the next few days. Kamloops will see a high of 19 degrees tomorrow. Believe it or not. Yeah.
Okay, well, the spring break kids will be happy in Kamloops. It'll feel really like spring.
Yeah, but here it's just going to be wet for them.
All right, thanks a lot, Anne. A Squamish woman who mistakenly donated the wedding dress she picked out with her dying mother is on a mission to find the precious item. She's visiting thrift stores throughout Metro Vancouver, and online sleuths have taken up the case too. CTV's Shannon Patterson reports.
When Olivia Delgado picked out her wedding dress with her mom, Cynthia, both women were overcome with emotion.
She was diagnosed with brain cancer in 2023, and we got the dress not long before she passed away. We just knew immediately that it was the one. She started crying, and then I started crying afterwards, and it was a really special moment.
Delgado lost her mom 10 months before her October 2025 nuptials.
I feel like it's the biggest connection that she had to my wedding. I know she couldn't be there physically at the wedding, but I did feel like she was there in the dress.
In February, Delgado and her new husband were preparing to move from Surrey to Squamish.
In my mom's closet, I was storing some of our prom dresses and my wedding dress as well. One of my family members asked me if they could donate the prom dresses, and I said, sure, I don't care about those. And then now, it was literally just the other night I realized I didn't have it. And I remember that comment about the prom dresses, and I knew that that's where it ended up.
The wedding dress that meant so much to Delgado and her mom was mistakenly donated to the Salvation Army.
Every person, when you lose someone, if you're lucky enough to have like a physical item that connects you to someone, the thought of losing that is a really devastating realization.
Delgado was told the dress could be at any Salvation Army thrift store in Metro Vancouver, so she's visiting them one by one.
And then obviously there is the potential that if someone purchased it, maybe resold it to another independent thrift store, it could really be anywhere. So checking out consignment stores, consignment bridal stores especially.
She also posted about her dress on social media, and online sleuths are taking up the case.
There is something really special about knowing that people are looking out for me and that people are willing to take time out of their day to look for it. And I'm offering a reward as well, but I've had so many people say, I don't even want the reward. I just want to help you find it.
As she goes from store to store, Delgado's mom is always on her mind.
It really feels almost like she's present with me through the search. I don't know, it's kind of odd, but you know, I feel like if she were here, she would be spending all day, every day trying to help me find it. And I feel like through this search, she's alongside me somehow.
Shannon Patterson, CTV News, North Vancouver.
Let's hope she finds it. Well, why soccer legend David Beckham is focusing on a different sport right here in BC. Also ahead.
I don't know if she's going to make it because she was unconscious.
An Ontario family was handed a whopping bill after their American mother who was visiting got sick while visiting them. She didn't have travel health insurance. That's ahead.
Time now for tonight's Skywatch. The CTV drone flying high above Horseshoe Bay in West Vancouver under an overcast sky.
CTV Skywatch is brought to you by Kermac Collision and Autoglass, the name you'll remember when it matters. Kermac cares for kids.
Taking a look at today's markets, the Canadian dollar traded for 73 cents to the American dollar. Oil up $3.07, closing the day at $95.53 a barrel. Gold gained $6 on the day. The TSX up 52 points, while the Dow Jones was up 47 points. A new poll finds that despite an uncertain housing market, a majority of Canadians want to own their own homes. The RBC survey found 80% of respondents consider buying a home to be one of life's biggest financial milestones. 32% expect to buy a house or condo within the next 2 years. The poll finds more than 60% of people say they need a second job or a side hustle to be able to afford a home. Understanding mortgages also remains a barrier, as 64% of people say they are unsure how much they can afford. If you have friends or family traveling outside of Canada, they should have travel medical insurance in case they become sick or injured. The same is true of anyone from another country visiting here. They also need insurance in case they're hospitalized. CTV's Pat Foran has more.
Naveed Zafar's mother, Beckham Bashiram, is in her 80s and lives in Atlanta, Georgia. In October, she was visiting with Zafar in Whitby and his sister in Waterloo. While in Waterloo, she had a stroke and ended up in the hospital.
I don't know if she's going to make it because she was unconscious.
Zafar rushed to the Waterloo Regional Health Network to see his mother and fill out documents for her care.
I didn't even bother looking at it because all I was thinking, if I can see my mom again or if she's going to make it.
Bashiran was in the hospital for 4 weeks in and out of intensive care. She has since recovered and is now back in Atlanta. While visiting Canada, she did not have travel health insurance, and the family has been handed a huge bill.
$110,000.
The total bill came to just over $111,000. The hospital did offer a discount of 10% on certain charges. Zafar owed about $100,000, and so far he has paid $55,000, but he's still expected to come up with the rest.
Being as a responsible citizen, I definitely want to pay to hospital.
When we reached out to the Waterloo Regional Health Network, a spokesperson said, "We sincerely empathize with the financial strain unexpected medical emergencies can cause, especially when navigating the complexities of international health care."
All people visiting Canada that are not Canadian residents need to purchase Visitor to Canada insurance.
Martin Firestone with Travel Secure says many different companies offer Visitor to Canada insurance, and he says the same way Canadians need insurance traveling outside our borders, visitors must have it to make sure they're covered if they get sick or injured while here.
Sadly, It appears they didn't buy it, and now they're facing this huge bill.
Safar says he is thankful the hospital looked after his mother and says he'll have to find a way to pay the rest of the bill.
I mean, I had to pay. I mean, there's no way out.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Ontario residents could soon be able to bring their own alcohol to more outdoor public events. They include farmers markets, movie screenings, art exhibits, and neighborhood festivals. Municipalities will have a role in deciding which events will qualify and will be required to pass a bylaw authorizing the use of alcohol in public.
What we're saying is if you want to go to a park, if you want to go to a cultural event, then you can have a glass of wine and a beer. You want to bring your own wine, that's fine.
The change is expected to take effect this spring. Shredded like Beckham, the soccer legend is back in BC at one of his favorite places. That is still ahead tonight. For something more rustic inspired, or perhaps your taste is more modern, we'll reveal the price tags for these Okanagan estates, something to fuel your dreams. Plus, pedal-powered Adam meets a woman searching for beauty by bike. Next on the Sawatsky sign-off. Right now, here's Carrie with a preview of Your Morning Vancouver.
Well, does keeping up with advances in technology have to come at a cost? Wednesday on Your Morning Vancouver, concerns about your digital privacy as government considers giving police new powers to crack down on crime. Plus, what you need to know before you adopt a guinea pig. We'll be joined by the BC SPCA. We'll see you in the morning.
Edmonton Oilers superstar Leon Draisaitl is expected to miss the rest of the regular season with a lower body injury. Draisaitl was hit into the boards by Nashville Predators forward Ozzy Weisblatt 5 minutes into Sunday night's game. He tried to skate it off but did not return. With 14 games left in the regular season, it's unclear if Draisaitl would be ready for the playoffs if the Oilers make it. Soccer legend David Beckham is in BC and looks to be having a pretty terrific snowboarding trip in Fernie. Beckham posted this video of himself on Instagram getting some fresh turns in at Island Lake Lodge. The backcountry cat skiing operation offers great powder skiing and relative seclusion. Joining Beckham on the trip is his son Romeo. Beckham says every year he tries to spend 4 days in the mountains in Fernie, calling it his favorite place to be. He also says he was snowboarding much faster than appears on video. Sure, David? Well, if you're dreaming of a cozy Irish pub on this St. Patrick's Day, here's one that might fit the bill.
We are here in the Wee Irish Pub. It's a mobile Irish pub that we built.
Instead of heading out to celebrate the holiday, this bar comes to you. The Wee Irish Pub was brought to life by two brothers who build miniature Irish pubs on wheels and tow them to weddings and backyard parties across New England. The pubs recreate the feel of a traditional Irish pub, just small enough to fit into a driveway. And from one wee pub to one very big celebration at a pub in Ireland, the Temple Bar in the heart of Dublin was packed with St. Patrick's Day revelers. Thousands of locals and tourists celebrate there every year, likely with a pint of Guinness. Okay, I think I prefer the wee pub over the big one, don't you?
Maybe 5 years ago, the crowds, but not now.
Okay, it's time for Living Large, our new weekly segment showcasing dream homes across BC and what it would cost to call them your own.
That's right, and tonight we're touring some of the most luxurious listings in the Okanagan region.
Listed at $12.5 million, Buck Lake Ranch is a 5,700 square foot estate in Beaverdell, secluded and private with no through roads. It's a 17-minute helicopter ride to get there from Kelowna, which is about 85 kilometers north. 4 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms inside. It also has 685 acres of streams, lakes, and forested mountains for the ultimate escape. Is that too secluded for you guys?
No, not at all.
Do you like that kind of isolation?
Yes.
Maybe the Beckhams want to go there next year.
Yeah, exactly. Well, for just under $12 million, premier boutique winery Sage Hills Estate is a modern 4,500 square foot marvel overlooking Lake Okanagan. Located in Summerland, this 4-bed, 4-bath home features 2 fireplaces, a home theater, wine cellar, outdoor pool, and wet bar. The estate also holds more than 10 acres of land, including a winery operation with a tasting room.
Is that an infinity pool?
Yes, it is. A win-win.
You need the winery, I think, to help pay for the house.
Yes.
You need to make money to pay for that mortgage.
And located in Lake Country, this $16.5 million estate is one of the most distinguished lakefront properties in the region. This 7,100 square foot home has 4 beds and 4 baths. The estate also features a separate guest house, as one would, and sits on the beach with a 400 feet of private shoreline.
Wow.
Who knew that there were so many palatial estates like that just tucked away in the middle of nowhere?
The Okanagan is home to a lot of them.
Yes.
Yeah, pretty fancy. Okay, we'll get to the Sawatsky sign-off in a moment, but first, Lauren, what's coming up tonight on the late news?
Well, Mijung, there is a lot of concern and reaction tonight over news that Vancouver is removing lifeguards at half of its staffed waterfronts. With Spanish Banks East and West, Sunset, Third Beach, and Trout Lake all soon lifeguardless starting this outdoor swim season. The park board says it's a must to save money and meet its budget, but lifeguards and board commissioners are sounding the alarm over public safety, saying it will impact far more than just swimmers. We will have more on those impacts and what's next ahead at 11:30.
Yeah, that's a lot of beaches without lifeguards. Okay, thank you, Lauren. Her love for cycling started at an early age. Decades later, it's blossomed into a passion for photography, too. In this encore Sawatsky sign-off, Adam explains how one woman in Victoria is using her bike to capture beauty wherever she goes.
Before she began cycling with a basket full of flowers, Angela Gabaldon was trying to ride her first bike without training wheels.
Big brother just pushed me down a hill and said, go at it, and I did.
That fearlessness was tested a few years later when Angela's grandpa bought her and her brother their first 10 speeds.
And halfway home, he stopped his truck. He took the bikes off the back of the truck. He said, here you go, and he pulled away and drove home.
Although they were left in the middle of nowhere, by the time they found their way back, Angela felt like she could go anywhere.
It was the best thing anyone has ever done for me in my entire life.
If that was empowering, the first time Angela rode this bike, it was inspiring.
And I was like, that's really pretty.
She'd stopped at a park, and the color of her horn seemed to complement the rising sun.
And I took a picture. I was like, yeah, that's so perfect.
Well, the experience felt so positive, Angela wondered if there might be more places to pose her bike.
Yes, I feel like I'm always searching for something.
And since she started actively looking, despite only being an amateur photographer, Angela says she's been consistently finding beauty.
It's magic. It's magic. It's totally magic.
It's like discovering a hidden gem, Angela says, so she named her bike Jules before fueling their rides with a basket full of flowers.
I see the rhododendron bush in the corner, and I see the guy over there who is just being really nice and smiling to somebody, and I see beautiful sunrises and beautiful sunsets, and you know what? I love to share those things.
Although she simply started sharing the photos of Jules with her friends, they began sharing them with their friends. And now, 4 years later, thousands of people appreciate her countless artful peddler pictures on social media.
If I can make somebody else's day better, then that makes me really happy, and that makes me feel really fulfilled.
So skip the training wheels, push yourself forward, and start looking out in the middle of anywhere, Angela says. You'll find there's beauty everywhere.
open your eyes and see what's out there.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Victoria.
We just wanted to linger
Yeah.
on those flowers just a little longer.
Right, an excuse to slow down, right?
Exactly. And Victoria, obviously the best city for her to ride around in and get lots of flowers,
Yeah,
right?
lots are blooming here too. The cherry blossoms are all coming up. Lots of daffodils, lots of tulips. So yeah,
Even with the gray skies, they still look pretty stunning.
Yeah,
right?
they add color to the gray skies that we've been seeing. And yeah, it's going to be great for a while. But first, let's take a look at our scenic snapshot for tonight. Before we go, a beautiful photo from Rocky Point Park in Port Moody. Thanks, Claudia, for sending this one in. And we want to see your scenic snapshot as well. So email us at scenicsnapshot@ctv.ca. We'd love to see those colorful flowers in the background of the gray skies.
Yeah.
Send those photos in.
Yeah, we need the flowers to perk up the gray days,
Exactly.
right? Rocky Point Park, always a favorite for people. All right, thanks for joining us. Lauren's back tonight at 11:30.
Good night.